Hi, this is Carrie Shell from On Point Quilter. For today's post, I'm going to show you how I traced an antique tulip block using Electric Quilt. We're going to start this project by bringing in an image of the quilt. And so I'm going to, since I'm going to start by working on the block, I'm going to work on block. I'm going to do a patch draw block, so new block, patch draw block, and I'm going to import the image for tracing. And I have saved my image in my images file, so I can open it here. And you can see that it brings in the entire quilt. So I am going to take those nodes that are in the center, and I'm going to move them, so in effect cropping to just one block in the quilt. And oh, this one is not right. Okay, there I think I've got a block, and I'm going to press OK, and then I'm just going to click inside the image to get it to fit, and that looks pretty good. Now the block isn't quite square, but I will just deal with that when I'm actually drafting the quilt. So now I'm going to go to my applique tab, and I'm going to start by doing the stems. And I had not actually used the brush stroke before, and I'm going to do that for the stems. If for some reason that is not on your toolbar, select the Customize toolbar, add Remove Buttons, find that brush stroke, and make sure the check mark is on for that. Okay, so now I'm going to select the brush stroke. I'm going to draw one of the stems, and that's actually too wide, so I can just change the width, and then I can change the boldness to get it more to the size that I was hoping for. And if you would like it straighter or less straight, notice that if you click on that, you can change the curve. You can see just by moving the handles how I can change that. Now I'm going to want this fairly straight. Maybe when I piece it, it will be a little different, but I want to start with a straight one. So now I'm going to select the pick tool, select my stem. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to use the symmetry. I'm going to clone it and rotate 90 degrees, and I have the second stem already done. So now I want to do the yellow tulip, and I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can so I can see a little bit closer what I'm doing. And for this, I'm going to use the Bezier curve, and I will select that. And as I am drawing, I am left clicking and holding the mouse down until I get to the next node. When I get to that node, I release the mouse, and then I put it down again to go to the next mode. So click down on my mouse. I'm going to start here. I get to there. I lift up on my mouse, and then I'm going to go here. Now that curve doesn't look good. I don't really care because there is this shape tool, and it is very easy to fix. So I can move this in place, and because I selected this curve, I can work on both ends of the curve by just moving the handles, and I can get that in place. If I select this one, I can make that nice and straight because that seemed to be what they wanted to do. Now that I've got this shape done, I can use the pick tool, select it, and I can clone it by using the clone icon, and I can flip it left to right. Now I think I could have done that with the symmetry tool also. So you can see that there's more than one way to do things within Electric Quilt. Now, I really wanted these points to match up, so in order to get them to do so, I just need to move my handles in place, and once I get them close, they will click together. And so that looks pretty good, and now I want to use the line tool to match up the bottoms, and now I've got the whole shape. Now if I want to check and make sure that it's a filled shape, I can actually turn on more drawing board options. One of the options under patch draw is join and fill, and notice that I had auto join when drawing, and that's why when I got really close when I was drawing those things, they clicked together. I can also autofill when the patch is closed, so I know that I have a filled shape, and you can see that I do here. So I'm going to just move that out of the way for a minute, and now I'm going to do the next one, again using the Bezier curve, and I'm just going to do one node there, one node there, pick up the pencil tool, and fill everything. Okay, now again I'm going to pick up that shape tool, put that in place, click on one of those curves, clean that up, click on the other curve, clean that up. I'm going to move that just a little bit forward, and I'm going to move this one on top, and I'm going to just go back down here for a minute, and I think these are just a little bit, I really want those to match up with the points on the yellow, so I'm going to do it that way. Now I'm going to go to the corner and do the leaf, and again picking up the Bezier tool, one node here and one node there, and it's finished. And I'm going to go to the options, and I'm actually going to turn off the autofill just so I can still see my shape that's behind there. And again, I'm going to just clean that up, and then click on the other curve and clean that up. Now, I do want to move this in the corner, because I am going to make my blocks actually square, and I'm going to turn off, I'm going to actually hide show image for tracing to see if that looks pretty good, and I actually like that, so I can turn the image back on. I'm going to go back to full screen, and now I'm going to take my image, I'm going to right click, symmetry, clone, and rotate 90 degrees. And I will just continue to do that. Now what I have left to do are the leaves in the center, so I'm going to clone one of those, and that's actually pretty good, so I'm going to clone and rotate those as well. Oh, and what I forgot to do is the tulips. So if I left click with my mouse and drag a box around the two pieces, I can clone those, and they will do both pieces at once, and I can rotate, and so I turn that image back on so I can put it in place. And I can now color my tulip. And I just am using the standard palette in here. I'm going to use a sort of an off-white for the background, and then the spray can tool and the green for the leaves and the stems. And I can now add that to my sketchbook. The layout for this quilt is actually a little tricky, and we will cover that next week. Thank you so much for watching, and for additional videos and tips, please subscribe to my newsletter at www.onpointquilter.com.